All right, guys, welcome to bonus number 3, where we're going to talk about messenger bots, ManyChat, and funnels, and how I instantly double my conversion rates from one little known hack. And we're going to talk about how you can apply that to your business starting today. But first, we need a little bit of background. What the heck is a messenger bot, and why is it so important? Why are people talking about it? What is the buzz all about? So Facebook Messenger, I think a lot of us know, a few years ago now, which is crazy to say, Facebook kind of split off their messenger capabilities of Facebook into a standalone app called Messenger. It's a little blue app that probably most of us, if not all of us, kind of use. And it's an absolute monster, right? There's over 60 billion messages processed per day between, Facebook's Messenger app and also, their other messenger suites. 60 billion, just to be clear, with a B, right? So messenger bots kind of allow you to automate some of the interactions with your customers, to provide excellent customer service, to notify people about coupons, and to do so many more things, right? It's just kind of the next iteration and next generation of email. So why is Messenger important? Messenger is important because Messenger kind of is to email what email was to pagers or letters, right? Like how email kind of replaced it and revolutionized communication, with the onset of the internet. Messenger is kind of the next step. And if you don't believe me, then just wait for a few years and you'll understand that I'm right. So every month, right, Facebook Messenger is used by more than 1.2 billion users. Right, and can't I just use email? A lot of people say this, right? According to Email Marketing Metrics benchmark study, the world average open rate of emails was 21%, right? Open. There's three different things. There's open, there's deliverability, opens, and click-throughs, right? So open rates is 21.8%. This means that 78% of users are not interested in opening emails sent by brands, right? And so the reason this might be different is kind of related to the high number of spam and how things were just getting really bad with email, especially kind of at the onset, that all of these different kind of things needed to take place, like the promotion tab on Gmail and SMTPs kind of giving IP ranges, favorability, and, and blacklisting particular IPs and domains based on spam ratios and things like that. We're not going to get too far into SMTPs and all kind of the technical stuff, but what's important to note here, guys, is that people just tend to open messages in Messenger literally at almost a 4 or 5 times rate as they do with emails. On my Messenger messages, I generally average about a 98% open rate, right? Relative to the 21.8% open rate of emails. So almost 5 times more for my open rate relative to the average for emails. And then I average, between a 20 and 44% click-through rate, right? So when you open an email, it counts as open. When an email gets delivered to your inbox, it counts as delivered, right? And when you click on any link inside of the email, it counts as a click-through. And so for email, the click-through rate is 3.4% industry average, right? And I'm getting about 44%, which is, almost 11 times, or no, it would be like 13 times higher, right? And so, that doesn't necessarily seem that ridiculous kind of when you're thinking about it. But if you think about it on a scale of like 1,000 people, or even 100, right, or 10,000, or in this case, I have 131,321 active subscribers. So this means that if I send it to 1,000 people with Facebook, 440 of them would click, right? And that would mean that they'd click on a YouTube video, or maybe they'd click on a webinar, or they'd click on, a product or whatever it was, right? And that means that only 34 people for email would click. So 410 or 406 more people, right, would click on Facebook Messenger than on email. And that adds up so quickly, guys. If you go to 5,000 people or 10,000 or 50,000 or 100,000 or 131,000, right? Those percentages really start to add up very, very quickly. So am I saying that you should abandon email entirely? No, absolutely not. I make, 1,000 times or more than 1,000 times more, than the cost to send an email from sending an email. It probably cost me like a cent to send an email. And, I probably make at least $10 each time that I do it per user, right? So let's talk about ManyChat.com. So ManyChat.com is, let's open up one in incognito just so you can kind of see their landing page. Meet Messenger Marketing. ManyChat lets you create a Facebook Messenger bot for marketing, sales, and support. It's easy and free, right? And so this is like, their little introduction to what a bot is, Hi, John, it's nice to meet you. Would you like to subscribe to Daily Cuteness? Yes, right? And like they have a lot of examples here to show you just how easy it is. And ManyChat really does a fantastic job of taking the technical prowess and the coding out of this process. So people that even if they have no coding experience whatsoever can create a fully automated kind of artificial intelligent-esque bot completely from start to finish in literally a day. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So without further ado, let's actually jump in and talk about some of the sections that are kind of most important, because we're going to be using a few of these a lot more than others. And so we're going to talk about kind of in order of importance and in order of how they appear, kind of the most important parts of ManyChat for most businesses, right? And of course, there's going to be more advanced stuff that some people are going to need. And we can talk about that when the time comes. If you have specific questions about ManyChat or how to do something, I've gotten pretty good at using ManyChat because I've just, I've done so much with it. And so just, feel free to message us or message me or tag me in the private group, and I'd be happy to go over some more advanced stuff. Okay, so this is the main menu, right? So this is our dashboard right here. If we look at the dashboard, we can see kind of our subscribes, unsubscribes, net subscribers, things like that. In like the last 14 days, it looks like we've had, almost 44,000 people subscribe, which is pretty cool. Audience shows, the people who've actually kind of joined our bot in the last little while, and you can see where they joined from and things like that. Live chat is our actual messages with people, which is cool. Growth tools is where we're going to be spending most of our time. We're going to talk about that a lot more. Broadcast is kind of like sending a message to everyone who's subscribed to you. It's like the main point of collecting Messenger bot subscribers. And automation, right? So this is where we're going to start because this is kind of the stuff that most people will need. So the main menu. So most of what we're going to do in automation is kind of what the majority of businesses need. Some of the growth tools we're going to talk about are a little bit more complex, and things like sequences are a little bit more complex, where it's kind of like an email sequence where you'll give them a welcome email, and then 3 days later you'll send them an email, hey, check out this video of mine. 3 days later you'll say, hey, join my Facebook group. 3 days later, it kind of works like that. It's similar to an email sequence where they're going to literally deliver messages to people's Messenger app directly to their phone, kind of in the order that you want. But first, let's talk about the main menu. So the main menu is what kind of people see on their phone. Like if they messaged you, the phone would kind of be, oh, here it is, nice. The phone would be right here, and these three links kind of append to the bottom of the conversation permanently. So like the messenger log would appear here, but at any time, if they wanted to check out these three links, they would always be here. So these should be the number 1, 2, and 3 places that you want to drive traffic for your business. Obviously, my business is primarily kind of driven through YouTube, which is why I have it first here. And obviously you can see it has 10,000 clicks to my YouTube channel, my Shopify webinar, and my FBA webinar have 6 and almost 7,000 clicks as well. So these are kind of the 3 places that I've found that are most profitable to drive traffic, and then people who are joining my ManyChat are obviously exposed to these links, and so it's very, very important to actually set these up with the links that you want most badly to drive traffic to. So let's click one of these and just show you guys how easy it is to set this up. So we're gonna go to Edit Menu, and then if we click on one of these, we have it set to open website here, and then this is the website that we want to open, right? But you can also reply with a message or open a sub menu. And then to actually edit the title here, all you do is just click in and then literally, kind of type as if it's a normal thing. They make it incredibly easy. So I like to lead off with emojis. It just kind of like adds a little flavor, and the Messenger app is really good at processing emojis, so there's not going to be a likelihood of any like errors or anything weird like that. And so yeah, that is the main menu. It's very, very simple and incredibly important to set up with your Messenger bot. The next one that we're going to talk about is the welcome message. I've always been confused why they ordered them like this, because the welcome message is actually the initial message that users receive when they click on your CTA. So like, for example, let's go to Facebook and go to my page. So when we're looking at my page here, you'll see the send message. This is our CTA, right? So when somebody comes to my page and they click on send message right here, the welcome message, once I've actually connected my Facebook page to ManyChat, the welcome message is the first message that sends to people. And so this might look a little bit complex, but it's actually not. This is what's called the flow builder, right? And so the flow builder, it shows the starting step. It shows, what happens when people click on specific buttons. And we're going to talk about how to actually use and set up the flow builder to create messages like this a little bit later on. But it's pretty simple, right? Like all this is in this first message, we use the first name variable. And to use the first name variable, we just open up two little brackets like this, two little squiggly brackets like I just did. And that is pretty much it. I'll do it one more time. Here's 1, 2. And then you can choose different types of variable names, which is really cool because it'll actually like make it seem more personal to kind of the users who are saying hi to you, because it'll actually kind of reply to them by name, and everybody likes kind of seeing their name written out. And so once they receive this message, they see the yes and the no option. If they choose the yes option, right, when this button is pressed, perform actions, action number 2. So like I'll literally drag this here. I'll choose that they're subscribed to my Amazon sequence, because if they say yes here, then they're obviously interested in what I have to say. And then also it'll subscribe them to the sequence, and then the next thing it'll do is send the welcome message, which shows one of my Amazon accounts, the sales, and then it says first name. If you're ready to be your own boss, check out one of our 100% free resources below and learn exactly how to leave the 9-to-5 behind you now. If you ever want to unsubscribe, just type stop. It's important to kind of leave this in your opening kind of message, just because if people don't realize it's a bot and they want to not receive more messages from you, you want to make it easy, because you never want to spam people, because Facebook will just ban your Messenger account, and nobody wants that to happen. So again, here are the 3 kind of Ninja YouTube, Shopify secrets, FBA secrets, the different things that people are interested in. If somebody's interested in Shopify secrets, I'll subscribe them to my Shopify sequence. If they're interested in YouTube, I'll subscribe them to my YouTube sequence. If they're interested in FBA, I'll subscribe them to my Amazon FBA sequence, right? And if they say no, they don't want to work for themselves, I don't subscribe them to anything. I just say, okay, cool, take a look at my YouTube, and that's that. And so that is the welcome message, guys. And again, we will talk about how to actually build out messages like exactly like this. We'll build one completely from scratch later on in this bonus to show you guys. But for now, we're just going to keep going kind of to introduce the menus. So the default reply. The default reply is the message that sends whenever someone messages your page after the initial message, right? So this is kind of like what I use to show people that, I will respond eventually, but I get literally thousands and thousands, sometimes up to 10,000 messages a day. And so obviously, it takes us time to get through all of them and to message people back and actually respond to this type of stuff, right? So when people message me after their initial message, the default reply is what I put, and I say, first name, thank you so much for the message, regardless of the fact I get hundreds of messages a day, and this should say thousands now. I promised myself I would never be like the other gurus that never responded to my messages when I was getting started. So give me 24 hours and I will respond, I promise, right? And so, I try to stay true to this, and I try to get back to and respond to as many messages as I possibly can. And again, I give the same kind of 3 things, because these are, again, the main places that I want to drive traffic. So at any time, they'll be exposed to these in the welcome message, the default reply, and on the main menu, kind of just always on the bottom. And just so they're all, the more exposure you give to these links, the more likely it is that they're actually going to click on it. And that's kind of the point of ManyChat, to automate traffic that's coming into my Facebook page and into my ManyChat, to kind of funnel them into the sections that I want, into the links that I want, in this case being, my YouTube and the 2 webinars. So that is the default reply. So automation sequences. Automation sequences are kind of a little bit more advanced, but a very important part of a messenger sequence. So let's look at my Amazon mini course. So every 3 days we'll send a new message, right? But so one important part of sequences, though, is that people have to interact one every 24 hours. So like if you send a message, 24 hours people have to actually engage with that message. And if they don't engage with that message, then you're not allowed to send them the second sequence. So it's not like an email sequence where you can just send people a million emails even if they never click on any of them. With Messenger, they have to actually interact. So let's take a look at this first one. So the first one, we say one of my students was able to quit her job within her first month. Now she travels the world and works for herself full time. Do you want to see how she was able to do it? Yes, please, or no thanks. If they say no thanks, I unsubscribe them from the sequence, and then I just drive them to my Ninja YouTube. And it's funny because even if people say no, they still click. 3% of them still click on my YouTube, which is hilarious. But most people say yes, right? 32% click-through rate, which is incredibly high. and then we send them, just some testimonials of some of my more successful students for them to kind of take a look at. And so the point here, guys, is that they have to interact. By clicking one of these buttons, they're interacting, which means that I'm allowed to send them one more message within 24 hours. And then if they interact with the next message, we're allowed to send them one more. So it's kind of like you send them one message. If they interact with it, you can send them one more. And then you can send them one more, and then if they interact with that, you can send them one more. So you kind of get one freebie every time somebody interacts. And I know I kind of explained that stupidly, but it took me a long time to figure that out because I thought it was just normal, kind of like normal emails where you could send people sequences, but they have to interact. You can send them one more freebie, and then the next one, they have to interact, and you can send them one more freebie, and then the next one, they have to interact. And so each time, you'll notice that my sequences have interaction, and then this one, I can actually just send them something to click on. But I've found that pretty much every time you send a message to someone on ManyChat, you want them to always interact anyways. Because if people make the micro commitment of clicking yes, then they're much more likely to click through after they say yes. Right, so every one of my sequence messages now, just to kind of be safe with the interaction rules and things like that, and because I found that people are actually more likely to click through on these things, I just always kind of lead off with a question that, in my opinion, the answer would obviously be yes to if people are interested in kind of what I have to say. So that is sequences, guys, and we'll talk about how to add sequences and things like that, a little bit later on. And so that, guys, kind of is automation sequences. Here's what I was trying to say a little bit better written. ManyChat allows you to send one follow-up message after a user interacts with your bot. So you can either send one message where they have to say yes or no, and then a follow-up that doesn't need that. But I just, to be easier, and just because I've found that people just kind of interact better if they always are kind of making that micro commitment of clicking a button, I just have the yes or no kind of in every one of my messages now, with just some basic little question like, do you want to learn how to make more money and like live the life you always wanted? Like, if people are saying no to that, then they shouldn't be in my Messenger bot anyways. And so I'll just unsubscribe them if they do say no. And if they say yes, then I'll subscribe them to a sequence, or, obviously I'll send them some video or some piece of content or thing or website link or whatever, kind of to make them take the next step. So I never like to send more than one message every 3 days. Messenger bot's a little bit different from emails. Remember, you don't want to be selling on Messenger. Like, never send a broadcast that says like, hey, buy my course, like 24 hours left. Like, that's like much more kind of suited to email. On ManyChat, you'd say something like, come watch like my free training, like your webinar, or like come check out this like free piece of content. And then in that piece of content, like on YouTube or Facebook, or like in a Facebook group, that's where you sell. But never sell directly from ManyChat, because people just aren't ready yet to be sold directly into their Messenger app. Messenger is much more personal. It's much more kind of like, intimate. It's just not really a sales platform yet, but it can be an incredibly efficient indirect sales platform. So give people free value via Messenger, and then in that free value have links to actually your paid content, right? So the growth tools section. The growth tools section is really kind of like where the magic happens with ManyChat. It allows you to do a lot of really cool things. Let's talk about kind of one of the most important ones, and one of the ones that I use most often. It's called the Messenger Ref URL. And so the Messenger Ref URL allows you to kind of create a URL, right, or a link, a hyperlink. And when people click on that hyperlink or click a button on that hyperlink, for example, it will automatically send whatever you want to send to them via Messenger. And so, for example, let's go to ClickFunnels and let's go to one of my mini courses. Or we can actually just go to it from one of my pages here. Let's go to a mini course. And so when we see this here, we see the Ninja mini course, right? And so when we click this button, we see down in the bottom right or bottom left corner, it says m.me/official Kevin David ref equals, right? So when I click this button, it's going to send a message to my Messenger, right? And so give it a second. And so then it sends me this message, hey, Kevin, here's a free gift, access to the Amazon FBA Ninja mini course below, just click below. And so they click, and this is another little advanced hack to get people's Facebook Facebook emails, click the button below for instant access. And so now they've subscribed to my ManyChat sequence, and then when they click for access, they have to give me their email via the login page here. And this is defaulting me to the actual full course because I've bought the course. And so if you've bought the course, you'll see everything. But if you haven't bought the course, then you'd only see the FBA mini course right here. And then in the mini course, we have very obvious kind of calls to action to the webinar, to my Facebook group, to the Facebook group here, and to my YouTube, right? Kind of all the links that I want people to drive to. We give away all this free data, but then if people kind of want the really good stuff and the advanced stuff, then they can choose kind of to upgrade by clicking this button. And here is the order page, right? So that is a Messenger Ref URL. So it's actually very, very important because you can kind of send people wherever you want, and in doing so, send them a message right to their messenger, which they're much more likely to open than an email. And at the same time, you actually subscribe them to your list, right? And this is the same thing as like an email list. When somebody clicks on a Messenger Ref URL, it's like they're joining your quote unquote email list, because then anytime that I want to send a broadcast, that my broadcast would go to all of the people who click on my Messenger Ref URLs and kind of engage with my content. So this is enormously powerful, right? Because we're able to capture people in two different ecosystems simultaneously, in my messenger list and then also my email list when they actually go to sign up for my mini course. So let's talk about actually how to create one of these really quick. So this is the Messenger Ref URL. This is kind of a blank one, so we're going to edit this one. We'll call this just like test. Right, and then let's click the actual opt-in. We're going to edit the message. So I like to use what's called the flow builder, and we'll do a little intro here, I guess. It'll be easy. It's just kind of easier, and you can actually move this starting step, but we'll make this one the starting step. And let's say that we wanted this one to be if people actually subscribe to my Shopify mini course. So we could say like, welcome, first name. Here is your brand's banking new Shopify mini course completely for free. And then we'd add a button. We'd open a website, right? And then the website that we would open would be the login page for my Shopify mini course. So we could type in mini here. Here's the Shopify mini course. Right, and so this is where we'd actually put the Messenger Ref URL, but with ClickFunnels, right, you'd actually want to drive them to the login page for the membership platform, which is kind of, I guess, a little bit too advanced for what we're talking about right now, but I just like to show things kind of all the way through. So we would drive them to the membership funnel, and we drive them to the login page, which is right here in ManyChat. And so when they clicked this button, they'd actually go to actually log in, and when they logged in, they gave us our email, and when they gave us their email, we'd subscribe them to an email sequence related to Shopify. So it's kind of all intertwined, right? And so we'd say like, join now, right? And you can even like add a little emoji. I like to add them to kind of all of my stuff here. Say like, join now, right? And so then that's pretty much that. And so if we wanted an action to take place, like maybe we wanted them to be subscribed to the Shopify mini course, we'd just go to subscribe to sequence, and we would do Shopify mini course, right? So now they join the mini course, and they're also subscribed to our Shopify mini course sequence, which we can see is right here, the Shopify mini course sequence that sends them, YouTube videos, testimonials, the webinar, course preview, kind of things that warm people up, add some more value, and get them to eventually join the course if that's what they're wanting to do. So that, guys, is the Messenger Ref URL. And then once you kind of set this up, all you do is come to setup, and here's the link right here. You go to copy to clipboard. So now anytime somebody goes to this link, oops, I did that in an incognito window. Anytime somebody goes to this link, it'll automatically open up Messenger right here, and it'll say, "Hey Kevin, thank you for subscribing." Oh, it's giving me the old post because I didn't actually save it. So let me go back to opt-in actions. We're gonna go to So it closed out what I did because I didn't actually save it. So here we can do it one more time. Okay, never mind. Here we go. So we're going to publish this. And now that we've published it, we're going to go back to the growth tools right here, setup, copy the URL to clipboard. Let's try this one more time. So now anytime anybody goes to this message, it's going to open up and send the new one, right? Welcome, Kevin. Here's your brand spanking new Shopify mini course completely for free. If you ever want to stop, right? So join now would send me to the login page right here, and then I'd have to log in. So that is the Messenger Ref URL. You can use it for a lot of different things, right? You can use it for discount codes, like in your Facebook group, like 1 to 20% off discount code, click here. And when they click it, you set up a message that automatically delivers them a 20% off discount code, or you want to join the family, you send them a message that automatically, sends them a message, and you tie the link, right? You tie this particular link to like a Facebook group or like a Shopify product page or a Facebook page or your website or whatever the case may be, guys. But when they actually click this button, right? Remember, when they click this button, they're automatically subscribed to any sequence you want, and they're automatically added as a Messenger bot subscriber. And when they're a Messenger bot subscriber, you can send out a broadcast to every single person who's ever subscribed to you. So in my case, it would be at the click of a button, I can send a message to 131,000 different people, right? Which is a great thing if you like making money and kind of working for yourself. Okay. So that is the Messenger Ref URL. It's incredibly powerful. So let's talk about another growth tool. There's a growth tool here called Customer Chat. So Customer Chat is really cool. It's kind of like the originators, or where I heard about this first, was from Drift. So Drift is a cool piece of software where it pops up in the bottom right-hand corner like this. And it actually like says, you can chat with like a real person, or you can have it say things, or if you have any questions like on a website, it pops up these little like iframes that kind of just like hover in the bottom right or wherever you want it kind of, and it allows customers to interact with you in real time. So I use these, or I used to use Drift on all of my Shopify stores and my websites and things like that. But now I can use ManyChat to replace it, and people, recognize ManyChat and the Messenger little symbol more anyways. And so what we're going to do is we're going to show you kind of how to implement this with Messenger. So this is what it kind of looks like on a real page. Hi, how can we help you? Kevin David, not you, chat now. So if people have questions like related to my Amazon course, like, hey, am I going to get one-on-one time with Kevin? Or like, does this include product research? Or, is there a PPC section to the course? Like people have, just kind of one final question normally before they make a purchase, like I've kind of said throughout this course. And having a communication medium where people can kind of get immediate answers from you is a huge kind of stimulus for people to kind of make those final buys. If you can kind of alleviate that final worry, or give them that one final little piece of data or knowledge, or answer that last question that they had, they're much more likely to make a purchase, which is why I use the customer chat widget on kind of all of my different stuff, just to allow people to open up that communication line and get their final question answered. And so to set this up, guys, we come into growth tools here. We chose the customer chat widget, but we'll do it one more time. Go to growth tools, new growth tool, customer chat right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to name this one. And we're going to edit the message right here. So if we come in here, we can say, hey, welcome first name, please let us know if you have any questions, right? And then just something like basic like that, because most of the time people are just gonna ask like a simple question or something. And so then we're gonna come in here, we're gonna call this customer chat widget. And then inside, all we do to actually install this is come to setup, and go to install JavaScript snippet. And if you haven't already authorized your website, you have to authorize your website. So all of my different websites and domains are authorized here. But like, let's say yours was like Google. You just type in Google and go to add. And once you've added your website here, then you just go to B right here. You take this snippet of code, and on ClickFunnels, for example, where you actually apply that is in here. So you'll see I don't know if I have it on this one. Snapchat, Facebook Pixel. Yeah, so I don't have it on this particular page just because it's a mini course, so it's already going to Messenger. But if I wanted to install it, I would just paste in the site-wide JavaScript snippet right here in the head tracking, and I would go to save and update. And if this particular domain was registered in ManyChat, so that is the customer chat widget. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is the flow builder. So the flow builder is kind of how you can create messages in a kind of efficient and streamlined way. So let's do one as if it was I guess let's make a growth tool because it'll be easier to kind of show that. So let's say that we wanted to make a growth tool of, people responding to like a Messenger Ref URL. So what we would do is we would go to edit, go to flow builder. So let's say that we wanted to have some buttons here, right? Like maybe we wanted it to be like we'll just do this one as if we were going to create like a broadcast. Welcome, first name. Have you ever wanted to work for yourself? And I'm just going to erase this part because it's going to be a growth tool. We're going to do a quick reply here. And we're going to do yes. And I like to kind of emphasize the yes and kind of make the no kind of not as noticeable. So we're going to do yes. Oops. We're going to do yes, and we're going to copy this little fire emoji. And then we're going to do another quick reply, and we're going to do no. So then the yes is obviously significantly more noticeable. And then once we do that, we can actually drag from yes, go like this, and we're going to send a new message, right? And so here we're going to say, have you ever wanted to work for yourself? Yes. Then you may want to check out the best YouTube in the world to do so, right? And then we're going to add a button, open a website, and we're going to do youtube.com/thatlifestyleninja. Web address here. And then if they click on the button, we're going to just call it like join the fam, right? If they click on the button, we want to add them to a sequence. So we're going to do action groups, action, subscribe to sequence. We're going to do Amazon mini course. And in the same way, guys, when you're building a sequence, you can just use the flow builder also. So each sequence is exactly the same as what we're doing right now. So if we wanted to make one sequence like showing testimonials, we'd just say like, do you want to see a testimonial of one of my students who makes $10,000 a day? Yes. And then you just link to the YouTube video of that testimonial, right? And then you could link them to, a different mini course or whatever, or you could unsubscribe them from a sequence. What you can do with the action groups, you can add tags, remove tags, trigger zaps, subscribe to sequences. You can do all types of different stuff. We're not going to actually do anything with this particular one, so we're going to delete that. But we are going to subscribe them to the Amazon sequence if they do click the YouTube video. If they don't, you can just like say something like, no worries, like wish you the best of luck. Feel free to check out our Facebook group to learn more. I always like to give them kind of another option here. So like maybe we could, maybe we could link the Amazon Facebook group. So we can open a website, do this. We can also call this one Join the Fam. And that is that. So this is a very basic kind of tutorial into the flow builder, but it's meant to be very intuitive. And everything that I just showed you can kind of be applied in the same way. You can continue to add things, right? Like you can add delays, for example. Like if I wanted to say join the fam, and then I could have it type for 10 seconds so it like kind of looks like someone's saying something, and then you could add another message, or if you wanted to add other things to it, it literally is like, it allows you to do so much. It's just all you have to do is figure out how to do it. And like they have text blurbs, you can add images, galleries, lists, audio, video, files, right? Like if I wanted to attach a PDF, or like if I wanted to attach a video, I can actually do it in this sequence here. You could say like, do you also want my free cheat sheet? can't type right now. Cheat sheet, right? And you could have a quick reply, yes, quick reply, no. And then, you know, these ones, like if it was yes, I could send another message here, and you can say like, claim your free cheat sheet below, and you could add a button here, open a website, right? And then come into ClickFunnels, and you know, we could choose one of our Amazon cheat sheets. And so then this way, you know, we have them going to our YouTube, subscribing there, hopefully, and then we can also just drive them to our cheat sheet right here. Like exactly like this, right? And we can add them to a sequence right here if we want. Maybe we want to add them to the Shopify sequence, or, you know, in this case, it would probably be the Amazon sequence. So we would subscribe them there, right? And so these are just ways that, you know, you can create all types of different stuff. It's just a cool kind of visual way to build this stuff without any type of coding, guys. And, you know, trying to create these things with code just requires such a different skill set. But, you know, entirely drag and drop like this with just yes and no. And, you know, what I just showed you kind of encompasses literally like 99% of building message sequences in ManyChat, right? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, you know, typing, sending them other stuff, subscribing them to sequences, right? All of what I just showed you in like that 5 minutes, if you kind of understand everything that I just did, you'll literally be able to do pretty much everything that ManyChat kind of offers. So that is ManyChat, guys. ManyChat links to Facebook pages, right? It links to your Facebook page. This is linked to my Kevin David page. It automates a lot of stuff. So when people say hi to me, again, you know, they get my welcome message. If people keep talking to me, they get my default reply, right? My main menu is always showing, so I can drive them to the links that I want. You know, there's keywords, so if somebody types stop or unsubscribe, they can unsubscribe. You always want to make it very easy. And it does default to having this one on. If people say stop or unsubscribe or no more, then they can unsubscribe from your bot. Sequences are exactly like building in the Flow builder, right? Like if I wanted to add a message, it would be exactly the same thing. I can show you one of the messages here. We see that the Flow builder is basically the exact same thing. And it just sends them in automated sequences kind of rather than just as single messages or messenger ref URLs and things like that. So that's kind of the crash course in ManyChat, guys. It's incredibly powerful. It should not at all be overlooked. And like literally at the click of a button now, I can get in front of 131,000 people, right? And that's incredibly powerful. It's the point of all of this, you know, building a followership, building kind of a group of people who you've added value to. And then, you know, when you want to sell them something, or when you want to show them something new, or when you want to show them your Instagram or your YouTube or whatever it is, you can do it kind of just at the click of a button. It really, really helps having, you know, a group of people who kind of value what you have to say, because anytime you release something new, they've already kind of received that value from you. They know that you're, you know, putting out kind of the best stuff. Or in the same way, if you want to send coupon codes or talk about new product features or whatever the case may be, the more people who are listening when you want to talk, the easier it is going to be to create a super successful, profitable business. So that, guys, is ManyChat in a nutshell. Now let's move on to Messenger ads, actual paid traffic using Business Manager, using kind of conventional Facebook ads, and let's talk about the best ways to advertise with Messenger. All right, guys, so let's talk about how to advertise with Messenger. Website, app, and Messenger, these are kind of the traffic destinations that we can use to send conventional types of campaigns like traffic and conversions, actually like where we want to drive traffic to. So if we open up just like a traffic marketing objective here, normally, you know, when people click like the learn more button, like the little call to action on a normal ad, it would drive people to the website, but you can also do an app, and you can also do Messenger. So we see that if we click website here, down in ad, it says identity, format, media, links. But if we change it to Messenger, we see the Messenger setup. So the only difference is that the call to action actually sends to Messenger. So what we can see here is if somebody clicks on our ad, right, it would say send message, and then it would actually send this message that says, hi, user first name, please let us know how we can help you. Can I learn more about your business? Can you tell me more about your ad? Is anyone available to chat? These are kind of the defaults, but if you want to change it and saying like, you know, tell me more about your, you know, basketballs, if you like sell basketballs, or, you know, tell me more about your martial arts gym, or, you know, whatever this is about, you know, you'd want to make these clear. You don't have to have 3 necessarily, but if we want to see kind of what it looks like, so annoying. then it will send from the page that we have, and it'll pop up in Messenger right here. And then it'll kind of just be like this. And then when people click these buttons, it'll let you know what they want to learn about, and then you can either respond to those messages yourself on your page, or you can have a virtual assistant do it. So that's kind of the most basic way that you can advertise using Messenger, just kind of as the call to action. Website, app, and Messenger. These are kind of the traffic destinations that we can use to send conventional types of campaigns like traffic and conversions, actually like where we want to drive traffic to. So if we open up just like a traffic marketing objective here, normally, when people click like the learn more button, like the little call to action on a normal ad, it would drive people to the website, but you can also do an app, and you can also do Messenger. So we see that if we click website here, down in ad, it says identity, format, media, links. But if we change it to Messenger, we see the Messenger setup. So the only difference is that the call to action actually sends to Messenger. So what we can see here is if somebody clicks on our ad, right, it would say send message, and then it would actually send this message that says, hi, user first name, please let us know how we can help you. Can I learn more about your business? Can you tell me more about your ad? Is anyone available to chat? These are kind of the defaults, but if you want to change it and saying like, tell me more about your, basketballs, if you like sell basketballs, or, tell me more about your martial arts gym, or whatever this is about, you'd want to make these clear. You don't have to have 3 necessarily, but if we want to see kind of what it looks like, it's so annoying, then it will send from the page that we have, and it'll pop up in Messenger right here, and then it'll kind of just be like this. And then when people click these buttons, it'll let you know what they want to learn about, and then you can either respond to those messages yourself on your page, or you can have a virtual assistant do it. So that's kind of the most basic way that you can advertise using Messenger, just kind of as the call to action. And this is important because when they actually click on send message, which you see right here, this is an example ad, again, from Digital Marketer and Ryan Deiss, one of the companies that I follow most closely. When they actually click the send message call to action, it actually opens up a dialogue, like a real kind of Messenger conversation with your Facebook page, whatever Facebook page you're using to actually run your advertisements from. And again, like I said before, downloading the Pages app allows you to kind of respond in a much more kind of succinct way to messages to your Facebook page. So I use that all the time. So this is really cool because it opens actual conversations with your customers, and then you can have either yourself or a virtual assistant really talk to people. Because if somebody's sending a message based on your ad, they're obviously incredibly interested in what you have to say. And then there's cool stuff you can do, right? Like you can create custom audiences of people who send a message to your page or who interact with your ads, and then you can really start to retarget people in a very kind of succinct way. So if you can get people to send you a message, you really kind of have them where you want them, which is a good kind of place to be. So have questions about Digital Marketer Lab and how it can help you grow your business? Facebook chat with one of our specialists to get your questions answered. We're happy to help, right? So everyone wants their questions answered. Everyone wants to grow their business. So obviously the answer to do you want to grow your business and do you want your personal questions answered is yes to most people. And they're even opening up this kind of chat dialogue. And I assume it's this one because they probably can't use Facebook's trademarked stuff and copywritten stuff. And so they have a basic kind of message template here, and they even have the little the preview bubble to kind of signify and make people feel like they're ready to respond. So this is just a really well designed advertisement here. So let's talk about other examples of what works and great. So do you want this free purse, right? Simply click the send message button below. So what people will do is they'll have kind of free plus shipping offers here where it says do you want this free product, right? And it'll have a nice picture of the product, and then it'll have a big kind of prominent free, just pay shipping or something like that. And it'll say to claim your free purse, click the send message now. And people will send a message, right? And then they'll fill out kind of their details. You can send them the link to it. You can give a coupon code if you want, or you can just have it be free plus shipping. And then you can be, once people have actually interacted with your ad, then again, you can create custom audiences of people who have engaged with your content. And just really quickly, just so there's no steps skipped ever, we're going to show you exactly how to do that. So in audiences, to actually create a custom audience of people who have sent your page a message, all you have to do is go to create audience, custom audience, and then go to engagement. and we're gonna do Facebook page, and then we're gonna do people who sent a message to your page, right? And it's as simple as that, and then you can retarget everyone who interacts with your messenger ads in this fashion. But guys, I mean, the possibilities are endless. Remember, people are normally just one question away from making that conversion, from actually, converting and buying your product, or doing what you want them to do with your kind of Facebook ads. So let's talk about the JSON growth tool. So what we just reviewed was the messenger destination, right? So you can send people to a URL, you can send people to an app, or you can send people to Messenger with kind of the normal traffic and conversion ads. But we also see that there's the messages marketing objective. So if we do the messages marketing objective, now when we come down to Messenger setup, we see that it looks a little bit different. So we're going to click on where it says custom template, get started. And what we can do is we can either design it in visual, or we can choose what's called JSON. We're going to do JSON here because JSON we can actually import. And I know this looks like code and it looks like scary and stuff like that, but it's actually not scary. The JSON growth tool in ManyChat, we can literally create using the flow builder what we just did, and then we can export it as code that we can just come in here, delete this, and we can just export it directly from ManyChat. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do that right meow. So let's delete some of these other growth tools so my ManyChat isn't sad and unorganized. So these were some of the ones that we just kind of did to show you guys. Okay, so this is the one that I made kind of for the tutorial here. We called it JSON Statham because I think I'm funny. If we go into edit here, we can edit the JSON Derulo. And so this is kind of the starting step. So we talked about how to make this, right? If I wanted this to be the starting step, I could choose there or here, right? But this is going to be the starting step. Welcome to Kevin David Inc. Do you want a 50% off coupon to my delicious muffins, right? So like this could be for anything though. This could be like a 50% off coupon to your tactical flashlight, or it could be, anything that you want someone to do from a Facebook ad. So like, do you want a 20% off coupon to a martial arts gym? Do you want like a free month at, our CrossFit gym? Do you want to claim, your free teeth cleaning from the dentist? Like it could literally be anything. I just wanted to show you guys one that I already kind of had built, so you don't have to like sit through and watch me do the flow builder again, because I already kind of showed you how to do it. So do you want my delicious muffins 50%? Duh, they're muffins, right? So we can go, sure I do. Claim your coupon code by clicking the button below, coupon code equals muffin life. And so this would be, like a link directly to where they could buy your muffins from. And if they don't want any muffies, then, are you sure you don't want muffins? No, give me muffins, or no muffins, right? Okay, we still love you, I guess, right? So like this would be, how you'd build a basic flow builder. And kind of the difference here, guys, is when we come back into the actual, into where we set it up, we'd want to make sure that we edited it and published it. So let's do that really quick. So if we go to edit, publish, so now it's published. And then if we come back and we go to next, it'll take us to setup here. And this is our JSON code, right? So we can copy the code and it automatically creates that messenger sequence for us. And so anytime somebody now responds to one of our ads, they'll enter our automated sequence. So if we don't want to have, for example, and this is such an important point, guys, if we don't want to have to employ virtual assistants to distribute messenger codes, if we don't want to have, if we don't want to have to answer kind of all of the main stuff, because most of the time when people message you, and especially if you're scaling these, it's going to be to claim the coupon code, or it's going to be to do this. Some people will have additional questions, which you can answer with a real person. But if you design your flow builder correctly, you're going to be able to answer most of everyone's questions kind of with this automation. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come in here, we're going to copy this, right, which we just did, and then we're just going to come into where it says JSON, and I'll show you again where it is, just in case we forgot. So we go to custom template here, and we're in the messenger setup, get started, JSON, and we're going to go Command A, delete this, and then we're going to paste in what I did, right? And now it'll do all the custom coding for us, and then when we press finish, then we are basically done, guys, and it's as simple as that. So one little final ninja hack that I do want to talk about is kind of for high ticket products, right? So if we have something that's, more expensive than kind of the impulse buy range, and the impulse buy range is, depending on who it is, between $20 and $50, or, anything significantly over $100, for example. excuse me, what I'd like to add is just kind of a final message here that says like, do you want, my product? Yes. And then like we could even add another message here that basically says like, so like, do you have any final questions? Do you have any like flash questions you want to ask us? And then, if they say yes, if they say no, if they say no, then you can just like bring them back to this message. But if they say yes, then what I like to do is have them send us a message, right? Where they say, okay, well, feel free to give us a call, right? At whatever your business phone number is. Just because people like generally when it's over a certain amount of money, they kind of like to have an additional kind of interaction, especially over the phone. So if you're trying to sign people to a product that's a little bit more expensive or a strange product, for example, or something that's not kind of in the impulse buy range, I like to kind of finish things out just with a phone call. And if you don't like the phone, then don't use the phone, obviously. But that's just something that we've kind of proven has been very, very effective. And then if we wanted to add this, we would just publish it, and then again we would just come back to where it says our kind of original JSON Statham. And JSON is like a coding language, by the way. I'm not sure why this is taking so long. But yeah, it would just be that simple. So then after we publish it, we'd come back and then just go to setup, copy it, go back to Facebook Ad Manager, create a new one, JSON, Command A, paste this in, finish it, and it would be that easy, guys. So that is JSON. That's kind of how you automate Facebook messages from an advertisement. So when someone clicks on an ad, they see your ad, right? And we'll just I want to show this one just so kind of, yeah, here we go. So if we made an ad like this and we said, do you have any questions? Do you want to get your questions answered? Can we help you grow your business? Click to click send a message, to have us answer your questions. So whenever somebody clicks send message, it would kick off that growth tool that you set up, the JSON growth tool, where it would like ask them a question like, do you want your 50% off coupon? Yes, no, right? And so it would just automate a lot of the process for you, which is super, super valuable and incredibly important and so easy to set up. It might seem a little bit complex, but rewatch this section if you need to, because I just showed you exactly how to do it. And it's so powerful to be able to do that without having to custom code anything. And you're able to scale it, right? Even if you're showing it to 1,000 people a day, right? It's still going to send those message sequences in the order that you created. So the more kind of succinct and beautiful you create it in the flow builder, the more succinct and beautiful and automated that it's going to be in reality and in kind of your ads. So let's talk about Facebook comments. So when you create an ad, especially if you're serving it to a lot of people, it gets a little bit difficult to kind of respond to everyone individually. If everyone's kind of commenting or if people are commenting kind of the same thing. ManyChat kind of has an awesome solution to this with what they call the Facebook Comments Growth Tool. So if we come back to Growth Tools here, go to New Growth Tool, and we go to Facebook Comments, what we'll see is you're able to kind of select a post, right? And this can be an advertising post, or it could be a post on your Facebook page. And what you're able to do is you could make a post that says like, if you want a brand new free Ninja Black Box Masterclass, where you learn how to make $1 million per month on Facebook advertising secrets, comment me below. Right? And then what this does, guys, is once you select a post, and you can choose it from your Facebook page, or you can do like the actual post ID, right? And we showed you how to find the post ID for any post. What you can do is you can actually, when a user leaves a comment, send message immediately, exclude comments with these keywords, or trigger comments with these keywords, right? So what you can do is you can say me, right? So only trigger for comments with these keywords. And now what this allows you to do, guys, is every time somebody types in the comment me with the post that you choose, right, you can actually set an auto response of your page to send them a message, right? And if you need to learn how to find a post ID, you can just use this little resource right here. Like I said, guys, I always tell you everything. I never try to leave out any single tiny little step because I want you guys to be successful. So if we go to auto response here, we can say like, hey, full name, or I actually prefer first name. Full name's kind of weird. So we're going to do first name here. And all I did right there, guys, was I typed in the little squiggly, 2 of them. to get up the menu. Hey, first name, you wanted our black box training. To get it, simply type go and it's all yours, right? Because what you want to know, guys, is people who comment on your post will become your subscribers on Messenger only after they reply to this message. This is super important. So you have to have them say one more thing, right? So I'll say type go, and if you want to be even kind of more explicit here, what I like to do is use the pointing finger. Like this, the backhand index pointing right. It's so specific. Just so it's like people's eyes are kind of drawn to it like faster. And because you want them to comment one more thing, or else they're not going to be subscribed to your bot, right? And the main point of all of these things, guys, is to get more subscribers on your bot, because the more people who are subscribers, the more people that you can reach with a single click of a button when you send a broadcast to all of the people who've subscribed to you. So when I send a broadcast, right, it gets in front of 130,000+ people immediately. So that is the auto response, right? So just make sure that you have them type one more thing. And then once we click next here, we're going to go to the opt-in actions, and we're going to send it to everyone who replies. And you can give them kind of like a download link to like whatever your awesome kind of training is. And you can use these things in combination, guys. You can use the Facebook comments growth tool, and you can put a Messenger ref URL in your ad copy to kind of give customers two potential ways to interact with your bot. Just because some people click on the link in the copy in the words, and some people actually click the call to action, which in this case would be the comment. And so you can give them kind of two ways to do it, by using a Messenger ref URL in the copy, and then also using the Facebook comments growth tool. And so that, guys, is the Facebook comments. And if we wanted to finish this out, just so we don't skip any steps, we just come in here and go to edit, or we're going to go to save first, I guess. And then we're going to go to edit. And now it's going to say, hey, first name, to download your awesome black box training, click the link below, right? And we could add a button here, and if you feel more comfortable, you can do it in the flow builder. It's the same thing. It'll just open it up here. I guess I have to write it again though. Oh no, I don't. Claim your awesome training, click the link below. We'd add a little button here, open a website, click here, and then you just put in whatever your website is. I'm just using Google because I haven't memorized my URLs, but this is where your website would go, wherever you want to drive them, guys. And I don't think you guys realize how advanced all of the stuff that I just made look very, very easy is. But if you know how to do everything that I've showed for ManyChat and for Messenger ads in this bonus, then you know everything you could ever possibly need to know that works incredibly well. All of the other stuff is just noise. This is the stuff that we've narrowed down from all of the different options, all of the different growth tools, all of the different ways to run paid traffic to Messenger and things like that. And these are the ones that just straight up flat out work, guys. And so then the last thing that we're going to talk about is broadcasts, right? So broadcasts are kind of the key to all of this. The point of running of Messenger URLs, the point of running messages, ads on Facebook, is so that people become subscribers. When they send you a message and when they engage with your Messenger bot, they become a subscriber to your Messenger bot, which means that you can send a broadcast. And a broadcast just means you're sending a single message to everyone, right? And that's basically the entire point, is to get as many targeted people as you possibly can to subscribe to your bot, so that you can reach them all with a single broadcast. And this is so powerful, guys, because unlike email, the delivery rate on these is like 99%. And the click-through rate can be 20 to even 50%. And when with email, it's 3% on average for a click-through rate, right? And we're talking about 20%. It's like the low average, which is already 7 times higher, right? But it can be as high as 50%, which is 19 times higher, which is crazy, right? So I have over 100,000 subscribers now. So basically, whenever I want, I can send a message, delivered right to someone's phone, very intimately on Messenger. But you want to be careful, right? Don't ever be salesy with these. Just add value, and with that added value, you can be salesy in the value. And what I mean by that is, I'll drive my Messenger traffic to a YouTube video, and I'll teach a bunch of stuff, and then at the end, I'll say, if you want to join, more training, here's our free webinar, right? So never ever with a Messenger broadcast say, hey, here, buy my stuff. Here's the discount code, buy my stuff. That just doesn't work. It's too intimate. People aren't ready for that yet. But it's pretty cool because you can get in front of 100,000 people, 50,000 of which open it, or 99,000 delivered to, 50,000 open, and 20 to 50,000 people actually click through it, which is crazy. So here's an example of a broadcast I sent that was delivered to over 94% of people, opened by 77%, and clicked by nearly 20%. Which is almost 7 times the rate of emails. And here's the example in the flow builder, basically just saying, hey, Kevin, first name, do you want to see my #1 little known method of advanced product research? By the way, this is 100% value, absolutely no pitch of any kind. Just wanted to share with you because it's helped me a ton. And so I did no thanks here and yes please on the bottom, because with broadcasts, people's thumbs kind of generally, it's closer for them to click yes please if it's on the bottom. And so I was just testing this, and it actually did work a little bit better having it this way. So no thanks, just sent them, maybe next time. In the meantime, check out some completely free content on YouTube. And 2% of people click through this, which is crazy, right? But if they said yes, right, they click through here, and then 53% of people click through here. So, 2,000 people, 2,300 sent, which means that, over 1,150 people watch my YouTube video with the click of a button, right? And this was back in the day when I only had 15,000 subscribers, right? So now I have 130,000 subscribers. So with 15,000 subscribers, like almost 1,200 people clicked on my YouTube video, which means 1,200 more views on that video. I'm sure at least 1% of those people converted and ended up buying my course, which was, 1% of 1,200 is 12 people, and 12 people times $997 is $12,000 from clicking one button. And so and I'm not trying to brag at all, guys. I'm just literally showing you the power of having people following you and having people kind of in your ecosystem that trust you, that you've added value to, that you've built a relationship with, you've built rapport with, you've helped for free, right? And then reciprocity, they want to kind of return the favor. And that's just kind of how this all works, guys, and how you can really, scale your business to kind of the next level. So just lastly, let's talk about some of the important parts of a broadcast, right? So to send a broadcast, you can do the flow builder the same way. We're just going to go, blah, because what we're trying to say is this part, right? So this subscription broadcast can't contain ads or promotional materials, but can be sent at any time, regardless of time passed since the last user activity. You can do promotional broadcasts, and you'll see that the number will change here according to how recently people have interacted with my stuff. Promotional broadcast messages can contain ads and promotional materials, but can only be sent to subscribers who were active in the last 24 hours. Or a follow-up broadcast at the end of the 24-hour window, you have the ability to send one follow-up message to these recipients. After that, you won't be able to send them ads or promotional messages until they interact with you again. So this is kind of what I was talking about with the one follow-up message, which is why it's important to always get people to engage, right? It's always about engagement. So I normally send subscription broadcasts, and I usually schedule them for later. If you start sending now, right, especially if you have kind of a larger audience and you have people that some of them are on the East Coast, some of them are on the West Coast, some of them are in Australia, some of them are in the United Kingdom, Canada, right, all over the world, then if you send now, then the message is actually going to be delivered kind of in the middle of the night, inevitably to someone, right? And so what I do is I schedule for later. You can choose a time here, or you can actually do start sending now and then just do time travel right here too. But I like to schedule mine just so it's like kind of clear, and I'll do it like I've generally found that around 6 p.m. like 6:30 p.m. local time is kind of the best time to do it. So we're gonna do 6:29 local time, and that would be today. So in like 2 hours my time. 2.5 hours. And I choose time zone settings, time travel. And what time travel does is messages will be delivered at the same day time according to the user's time zone. So this means that all of the messages, when it's 6:29 Pacific, all of the people that are in the Pacific time zone will get this message. And then like on Eastern time, it'll change. In Australia, it'll change, and things like that. So what I like to do is I like to schedule it at least one day in advance, just so everyone kind of gets it at the same time, locally with time travel. And then what you like to do is regular push. So if you're doing subscription broadcast, regular push, make sure that none of it is promotional, right? Do not ever try to say, here's my stuff, buy it, because it just doesn't work like that with Messenger, and you're gonna get your account banned. So just give away free value, and then with that free value, whether it's on your Facebook page or your website or whatever, have a way to downstream or down the line actually, be able to sell something or drive them to a coupon or some type of promotion, right? So that, guys, is broadcast. So let's summarize really quick. Messenger really is kind of to email what email replaced before it, which was, pagers and faxes and letters and things like that. They've kind of, Messenger has already kind of started to replace email and is going to continue to do so as more, artificial intelligence is added, more kind of giving customers a way to really interact with businesses straight from the Messenger app with customer service, onboarding, things like that. Integrating kind of even the basic stuff with Messenger, guys, is going to put you at a huge advantage. Just learning this stuff makes you so valuable. One of my students kind of has worked to become, the go-to Messenger guru, right? And he's gotten $20,000 contracts setting up Messenger bots for these larger companies that just don't want to learn this stuff. And I promise you, if you understand everything that I taught you in this bonus, you could set up Messenger bots for businesses exactly like my friend's doing, right? There's really nothing more valuable than being able to reach thousands of people at the click of a button directly to their phone, right? And everyone checks on Messenger. It has push notifications. Everyone has notifications on for Messenger because it's like the way that people use Facebook, and it's a major way that people use to communicate, especially internationally and just kind of in general. So this is the last section of the course, guys. This is the final kind of advertised bonus for you guys. There are going to be some unadvertised bonuses because I love you and I want to, just overwhelm you with value, and I want to give you every resource that you could ever possibly have. But this is the final section of the main course, the final bonus. If you did qualify for the bonus, then thank you for joining us and joining the family. I really just wanted to thank you guys so much kind of for going on this journey with me. I know it was a lot to take in. I know it's like multiple fire hoses just jammed down your throat and turned on at full blast. But the reason that I did this was because there were so many other courses out there that were just giving people high level stuff that was just not helpful, right? It left people too many questions. They didn't understand how to do it. And I was like, oh my gosh, people need to actually get tutorials. People need to be shown how to do this, in a really pragmatic kind of actionable way over someone's shoulder who really utilizes this stuff and makes a ton of money from it, right? And so I'm going to leave you guys with kind of two final suggestions if you want to be successful with the Facebook ads masterclass and online business in general. And we've talked about this briefly before, but number one, guys, be active in our private Facebook group. If you aren't a member of it, email support@officialkevindavid.com to become a member. There's really nothing more valuable than having people in the same place as you. People kind of grinding to make it work. People, there's always going to be little things with entrepreneurship, like you're getting an ad error, or you can't figure out how to paste in the JSON, and you can ask people, and people help you, right? That's the point of the private group, is to grind through this until we all make it out of kind of the 9-to-5 rat race, right? And number two is do not give up under any circumstances. I know I've mentioned it a few times now, but we have a student, right, and I always talk about this, who's now earning $28,000 profit per month, right? $28,000 profit per month. And he was rejected 23 straight times by local businesses to let his Facebook ad agency run their ads for him. And on the 24th time, everything changed, right? Guys, you only need 4 people to say yes to you, 1, 2, 3, 4, to make more than the average American makes per year. And you can do that entirely on your own time, entirely with your own schedule, no boss to answer to, no commute, and no awful parts of the 9-to-5 grind, right? You don't have to go talk to your boss who has nasty coffee breath. You don't have to sit in some nasty smelling conference room, right? Everything is on your schedule, guys. So keep grinding. Start the course over again if you need to. This time, implementing as you go. And I cannot wait for you guys to join our huge list of student success stories and to live life on your own terms, how it was meant to be lived. So thank you guys so much. I seriously love every single one of you ninjas, and we'll see you on the next one.